think if you take nothing from this, please know one major thing. Diversity and inclusion aren't synonyms, so they can't be used interchangeably. I know. For some of you, that's a shock because you love to just make words up and make them mean whatever you want them to mean, but words mean things, guys, okay? And not synonyms. Sorry, I don't make the rules. So I went to my good sis Webster, and this is how she defines diversity and inclusion. Diversity is the state of being diverse. Just the state of being diverse. So you notice that there is no action behind that word, right? There's just the overall general idea, the state of being diverse. And inclusion is the action of including or being included within a group structure. So again, you have the state of diversity, which is you see it, you can look at something and see these things don't look the same, whatever that thing might be, and that makes them diverse. Inclusion, however, is making sure we are actively putting action behind that diversity so that those people feel included, right? So another easier way to me of kind of breaking this down was diversity refers to the traits and characteristics that make people unique. But inclusion refers to the behaviors and the social norms that ensure people feel welcome, okay? Feel welcome. So diversity is the what, inclusion is the how. The what and the how. Diversity at this point in time is the bare minimum, right? Like everything should be diverse because the world is diverse. So we can no longer give people, you know, the benefit of the doubt and a pat on the back for diversity because the world is diverse. But when you're allowing or opening the doors or providing access to different types of people, to people of color, to Black people, are you just letting us in the room? Or are you providing us not only access to the room, but a seat at the table and a voice at said table? Right? Diversity is being invited to the party. Inclusion is being asked to dance. And that like so perfectly sums up so many things. In a lot of people's mind, they let you in and they said, you could come here and be a part of our crew. I'm telling that my employer, this is what I need because you brought me here and sometimes my needs will be different. That pushback that you give people when you say, oh, it's too much, or oh, you're being combative, oh, or that's just how that person is, so you have to let them say whatever to you, means that you're not ready to be inclusive. So, but you need to be quiet and you need to make it work. And if you can't do that, we will find someone else that looks like you, that's a little quieter, that will be okay with just being let in. And I think at this point in time, that's simply not enough. Point blank, it's not enough. One thing that's super important to think about, I think, is how quickly everyone, like the company, big companies and you know, even maybe your workplace now came out and said, you know, we stand against racism. We stand for, you know, inclusion. We're proud of the diversity that we have, you know, within our company. But I think the challenge, you know, once we do get back to work and even now is really thinking about if those people that you're now standing for even have a voice, if they even feel welcome, you know, to speak up for themselves and the things that they need without fearing retaliation, because a lot of times that's what happens and that's not inclusion at all. Management. It is a privilege to be able to go to a person in a management position and know that not only do they look like you, but they will understand you in a way that other people will not. So when you're thinking about making your staff diverse, whether it's your staff at McDonald's or your staff at Apple or your staff at wherever, Target, wherever it is, also know that in that diversity, you will also need management positions that also are diverse, because you need to reflect your employees. You need different people, will need different things, and there is no longer a one size fit all for everyone. Are there certain rules that will never change? Absolutely. Work starts at 9, everyone takes an hour lunch, work ends at 6. Absolutely. But there are other things, and the more you hire people that look different, the more those things will change. So if you're not open to that, by all means, don't be a pillar of diversity if it's too much work. But if you're going to say that you are, be ready to actually do the work. Inclusion is, in its basic form, action. It's action, it's putting in work, it's deciding that not only do I want you here, I want to hear what you have to say. And we have failed so many really, really good employees because we just chose not to listen to them. We chose to tell them that their needs were too much, that they were a burden, but yet you brought them here to benefit from their presence. Let me repeat that. You brought us here to benefit from our presence. So once you decided to do that, if you're not going to include us in the conversation, I don't want to be a part of it. So what can we do? How can we fix it? Well, number one, you can acknowledge that even though you might be diverse, whether it's whatever it is, it might be diverse, you can acknowledge that maybe it hasn't always been inclusive. You can use your privilege, whatever that privilege may be, to make sure that the people that are maybe not always heard get a voice. Maybe you take 2 seconds out of your day to step back from speaking up and let someone else step forward so their voice can be heard. Number 3, you don't victimize, or I don't even know if that's the right word. You don't treat people bad for needing things because they're different or might require a little more elbow grease. You work to make sure that spaces are not only diverse, but that they are welcoming to the different types of people that you bring, and you pride yourself on knowing that you cannot speak for them and they should be able to get that opportunity to speak for themselves. You don't just post, these really blanket statements as companies, and then your management or your chamber or your board of directors or your CEOs and all your executives are as white as a bag of flour, but you're writing about how you stand against this and you are so inclusive, but you have no people of color that have actually told you that you are. You realize that inclusion takes work, and we don't only want to pass with our C+ of diversity, but we want to succeed and we want to create spaces that are beautiful. I don't want to live in a world where I am watering down my Blackness to make you feel comfortable. I want I don't want to live in a world where you say, I don't see color, because that's how I'm walking around with an ashy face full of makeup. I don't want to live in a world where every time I say, hey, I'm a Black woman and I need this to do the best job I can do, someone says, oh, she has such an attitude and she always needs something. No, maybe you weren't prepared, Jan. Maybe you came to class without all your materials and you're just upset because I need a little more. I can do anything that's put in front of me. I can do it with a smile. I can do it with all of my energy and my passion, and I can do it with every ounce of my body, and I can do the best job at it. But if you are going to set us up for failure because you don't want to do the work, we'll always have an issue. We'll succeed because we're dope. We'll succeed because I'm gonna go buy my own makeup when you make me look silly. We'll succeed when you're patting our hair like we're a dog because you just don't get how big it is. We'll succeed because we'll take what you'll give us, but why not be better? Why not get a passing A+++? Why not, do the work? If you're not willing to do the work, if you just want everything to be one note, absolutely, girl, kill that. I love that for you. I love that journey for you. But if you're going to wave your flag of diversity and say, look at me, look at me, look at me. I have an Asian and a Black and a Mexican and a queer person and a person in a wheelchair. And look at us being, if you're going to do that now in 2020, when we've already had this conversation, you're gonna get dragged, period. So just fix it. Do some work, read a book. You have more questions, ask. Maybe not me, maybe I'm tired or not, but the bare minimum is no longer enough. The world has been a beautiful mess for a long time and we're tired of it. So talk to us. Don't talk to them for me, talk to us. Find out what we need. Find out how you failed us. Find out how you can do better. And then we'll talk about how we can make spaces inclusive. Period. Period. That's it. Thanks for watching.